Morning. This is the February 8th, 2022 Cottage Grove Economic Development Authority meeting, which I'm calling to order. The first order of business is roll call, so Jamie.
EDA President Bailey.
Aye.
EDA Vice President Dennis.
Here.
EDA Member Knopp.
Here.
EDA Member Crone.
Here.
EDA Member Myers.
Here.
EDA Member Carey. EDA Member Thewis.
All right, thank you. Next on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We do have one set, which is 3.1, which is approval of the January 11th, 2022 EDA minutes. If there's no changes or corrections, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Mayor, I'll make that motion for us to approve the minutes from January 11th.
All right, sounds good. We have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA Member Crone. Any further? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I almost did the roll call thing. I'm so used to our last council meeting. All right. So, next on 4 is business items, and 4.1 is economic development update and business inquiry, and our city administrator, Jennifer Levitt, will walk us through this.
Well, thank you, Mayor, members of the EDA. It's exciting as we continue to talk about economic growth that's happening in our region. And I'll just give you a few updates. First, start with the beige book. Employment grew moderately, but still a tighter labor supply that is stalling, which could be a little bit stronger growth. Wage pressures remain strong with strong wage growth in construction, manufacturing, and hospitality and tourism. Labor supply was tight, and a lot of those quit rates are really starting to trend upwards as well. And so I'm sure most of you in the business sector are probably recognizing some of that labor challenges. Also, price pressures remained elevated from already high levels. Consumer spending grew moderately. Commercial and residential construction grew moderately. Commercial real estate grew modestly, while slower residential real estate sales happened. We're maybe even seeing that in our market as some of the inventory is actually a little bit lower, and so we're not maybe seeing as many sales as fast as we typically would. But now we're starting to see those building permits, even for our city, starting to come back in at a higher rate. The retail vacancy rates continue to inch higher. Office vacancy rates remain high, and multifamily vacancy rates remained low. Manufacturing activity has really increased briskly, which I think we're going to see from our own agenda today, and agricultural conditions were steady. A couple of things just to bring to your attention. The Cottage Grove Visitors Bureau launched their very first official visitors guide. So Discover Cottage Grove is out. It's both available in hard copy and on our online version. And it's a great resource to really check out all of the wonderful things that we have here in Cottage Grove that you might not even be aware of. So it's a great guide that we're really excited. It's our very first one to be able to publish. Caribou Coffee had their ribbon cutting on February 3rd. This was exciting to be able to welcome them to the community. And also over the weekend, they did a fundraiser for Friends in Need Food Shelf, donating $1 of every purchase to the Friends in Need Food Shelf. So it was a great way for Caribou to give back to our community as well. North Star Sheets, their exterior addition is now complete. They're actually now starting with a lot of the underground plumbing, concrete flooring, so as they start to think about being able to move some of their equipment into that space. American Logistics, the company is expanding into the newly completed CAP Industries building at the 7900 West Point Douglas. The plans are for just over 63,000 square foot of tenant improvements, which actually have come in for building permit review not long ago. Hy-Vee convenience store, the Fast and Fresh, the remodel project has started, which includes an addition of cooking equipment to provide hot and fresh grab-and-go products. And as you probably saw, the new signage on the building with that as well. Oakwood Park Shelter, the footings and foundations are complete. In addition, the block bathroom walls and the beams were completed, and the roof trusses are being set. Just a couple of things to note for Aggregate Industries, their 2022 mining permit to continue their operations, which is shown on red on the island area, was approved by the Planning Commission on a 5-0 vote. in regards to that application. Also, the City Council on March 2nd will be looking at backwater mining that will actually occur in this area that's being proposed. An application has been made for that. A formal EIS and a scoping EAW decision document will be sent out for publication following that March 2nd City Council meeting. Flint Hills Fire Suppression Building, they applied for a site plan review to install a new 210 square foot tank foam building to support a fire suppression system at their property at 6483 85th Street. The Planning Commission did approve that on a 5-0 vote. Van Meter, or as we knew it as Warner Electric, they've applied for a conditional use permit for additional fencing around their exterior storage area where a lot of their equipment, trucking, obviously they've had a lot of supply challenges and delays, and so this fencing will help really keep that area contained and secure as they navigate this challenging time before they can look at expanding their building. And with that, I'd stand for any questions.
Any questions for Administrator Levitt by the EDA? Guess you were good. You covered it all. All right, so we'll move then to 4.2, which you're also covering, which is the letter of intent for 7470 East Point Douglas Road.
Well, Mayor, members of the EDA, we did receive a letter of intent from Hang LLC on the 4th of February for the vacant piece shown here in yellow, the 0.54 acres, which used to be an old transmission shop, which the EDA purchased. We did the site cleanup and remediation related to that site. At this time, they have made a letter of intent at our asking price of $8 a square foot. The parcel is zoned B2 retail zoning. Our intent was to try to generate retail services, restaurant opportunity on this parcel, and so that does align with that objective of the EDA. Just to give you a little bit of outline of what is being proposed, the site would be the future home of the Thai Garden, which is a small family-owned business. The site plan that's shown on the right, the building plan is for just over 3,000 square foot. It does have a small outdoor patio area, a small bar area, typical seating in the center of the facility. The indoor seating is approximately 100 with outdoor seating for approximately 40. As part of any development project or redevelopment project, we knew that this site could be a little bit challenging, so we're anticipating maybe having to see a parking variance or some setback variances with this redevelopment. Obviously, you can see by the plan at the lower right of your screen with the Thai Garden, it is a brick building meeting our Class 1 material objectives for our zoning code. So at this time, we are asking the EDA to execute that letter of intent for the purchase of 7470 East Point Douglas.
All right, EDA members, any questions for staff on this one? Are you here for this one? Are you? All good? All right, sounds good. So if there's no other questions on this particular item, I'll look for a motion to approve as it's noted on the screen in front of you, whoever would like to do that.
I'll go ahead and motion to authorize EDA President and City Administrator to execute the letter of intent with Hang LLC for the purchase of approximately 0.54 acres located at 7470 East Point Douglas Road at $8 per square foot.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA member Vice President Steve Dennis. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. There you go. We'll see you back when we go through the official motions, but hopefully welcome to Cottage Grove.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Cottage Grove resident too, so
Thank you. Well, we appreciate that, so we're glad that you're coming back home, open your restaurant here. That's awesome.
glad to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, next we'll move to number 5, which is public hearings, and we actually have 3 this morning. The first one is 5.1 is 97th and Hemingway land purchase and sale, Syndica LLP, and the purchase agreement. So Jennifer is going to take us through this one.
Well, yes, as we talked about all of that growth, the industrial park is definitely seeing that. Last time we held 2 similar public hearings for sales of land, so now we're today it will make 4 different properties within the business park that we're actually selling. So as we've done with other projects, as part of it, when we buy and sell from WAG, there's that entity, so we have 2 purchase agreements that would typically go with that. So the parcel that we're talking about today is located at 97th Street in Hemingway. So there's the WAG Properties owns 22.4 acres in yellow. The city EDA owns the 3 acres in green. And so there's a combined purchase here of those 2 parcels. As part of this, it is zoned I2, and the entity Syndica has indicated that their development proposal is fully compliant with that I2 zoning. As I mentioned, there is that historical buy and sell component with WAG, which does require then us to hold a public hearing for the sale of property. We did meet all of the state statute requirements for the public hearing notices and the publication. And so today, we're asking you to hold a public hearing and then approve the 3 motions that are on the screen.
All right, so I'll first ask EDA any questions or comments before we open the public hearing. All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead then and open the public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this item is welcome to do so at this time. Seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'll look, we have 3 separate motions that we'll need to do this morning, so if somebody wants to take motion number 1, we'll kind of work our way down.
I'll take that. So, motion to approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of property from WAG and sale of property to Syndica LLP for development purposes.
All right, we have a motion by EDA member Knopp,
Second that motion?
second by EDA member Myers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Who would like to do number 2?
I can take number 2.
Okay.
So I motion to authorize the EDA president and city administrator to execute the purchase agreement with WAG for the purchase of 22.4 acres for development purposes.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Crone,
Second.
second by EDA Vice President Dennis. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then number 3?
I can make that motion, Mayor. Motion to authorize the EDA president and city administrator to execute the purchase agreement with Syndica LLP for the sale of 25.4 acres of development purposes subject to minor modifications by the city attorney.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis,
Second that one?
second by EDA member Myers. Any discussion? Seeing none on this, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so that one's approved. 5.2 is 100th and Jamaica land purchase and sale by Ryan Companies and purchase agreement.
Well, Mayor and members of the EDA, you're experts now in holding the public hearings and executing these agreements. The specific parcels that we're looking at today is the 13 acres that's shown in yellow as part of this. As part of this project, there will be a preliminary plat that'll actually combine a very small sliver that had been part of the Glendenning Road that will be incorporated into this parcel and sale. At this point in time, we know that the end user is about a 50,000 square foot end user that would be compliant with the I-1 zoning. Ryan Companies is the one who's going to be executing this on behalf of their ultimate end user. We did authorize that letter of intent back in January with Ryan Companies as they're moving very aggressively to market to be able to get this business in the ground as soon as possible. As with the other entity that we just dealt with, there is that buying and selling with WAG that does require the public hearing. We are requesting that you hold a public hearing. We did publish according to state statute and provided all legal notifications. And so we do have, once again, 3 motions before you. And I think we're getting a little bit of feedback from the control room, so I'm sorry about that.
Yep. All right, any questions for staff on this one before we open the public hearing? All right, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to speak on this item is welcome to do so. And seeing nobody in the audience that is on this item, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. And once again, we'll make the run down the motions. Who would like to take the first one?
take it?
Yep.
Motion to approve a resolution authorizing the purchase of property from WAG and sale of property to Ryan Companies for development purposes.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Knott,
Second.
second by EDA member Vice President Dennis. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to number 2.
I'll do the second one, to motion to authorize the EDA president and city administrators to execute the purchase agreement with WAG for the purchase of approximately 13 acres for development purposes.
All right, so I have a motion by EDA member Myers. Do I have a second? Did you?
Second,
Okay, sorry. Seconded by EDA member Crone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and we'll go for number 3.
I can take number 3. So I motion to authorize the EDA president and city administrator to execute the purchase agreement with Ryan Companies for the sale of approximately 13 acres for development purposes, subject to minor modifications by the city attorney.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Crone. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is that down on my right? Okay. Seconded by EDA member Knott. Any questions? Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, so both of those are done. Last item for public hearings is an EDA easement to the city, and I will let Jennifer take that one.
Well, Mayor, members of EDA, you're probably asking yourself, what does water have to do with the EDA? Well, it's kind of interesting. As we've gone through the 3M settlement related to PFCs in our community, we've been allocated nearly $90 million for improvements related to water treatment. As such, we have bought a piece of land at the intersection of 110th and Ideal Avenue for our future water treatment plant. As part of that, we actually need to connect well 10, which is actually located here on the screen. And what we need to do is connect it with what we call a raw water line. So the water that's being pumped from the ground is untreated and would be actually then sent down to the water treatment plant, and then treated water would then be dispersed to residents and businesses. But the thing that we need to do is actually construct a raw water line to make that connection. So the pink area on the screen is where the water main would go. Now, we strategically place this within the 100-foot setback from the residential area, which in essence, those businesses actually have to abide by that setback. So there's actually no impact to that parcel for future development. And Syndica is aware that we are proposing to put the easement on the 22 acres and on the 3 acres that the EDA owns. Legally, we have to actually enable the public hearing to encumber the EDA to the city to grant that easement for that actual water line. And so the easement that we're talking about is only for the 3 acres here to allow that land to be encumbered with that permanent and temporary construction easement for that water line. But as I indicated, we've been working directly with Syndica, and it provides no issues related to the land sale, and all of this has been disclosed to them as part of the entitlement work. So pursuant to state statute, we do have to hold this public hearing. We have provided the necessary notice associated with it, so we're asking you to hold the public hearing and then recommend the 2 motions that are on the screen.
All right, any questions on this item? Pretty straightforward. All right, I will go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to speak on this item? It's welcome to do so at this time. All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing, and we have 2 motions before us. Who would like to take it?
I'll make the first motion to approve a resolution authorizing the conveyance of an easement to the city of Cottage Grove.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by EDA member Crone. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then the final?
I'll go ahead and do the second one. I'll motion to approve the permanent utility easement and temporary construction easement agreement with the city of Cottage Grove.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by EDA member Knott. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Fantastic. So we're all through the public hearings. Next on our agenda is 6 is other business. 2 items, well, 3, I guess, but 2 particular items. One is the agenda, which is before each of you. Just for the EDA, one of the things that the city council is doing, you'll notice on our calendar, there is some city council workshops. This is workshops that the council are going to be doing dealing with, we're basically relooking at all of our ordinances and some of our criteria as it relates to different things. Everything from, I guess I could say everything from chickens and ducks to, general ordinances and such. And so we are using some extra time, starting with even tomorrow evening, to have some of those conversations, talk about that and see if there's changes that we want to have made. So I just thought I would mention that to all of you. EDA comments. Is there any EDA comments or requests at this point? Yeah, EDA Member Vice President Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to mention that I'm excited for our trip coming up here to the ICSC, where we have an opportunity to go promote the city down in Las Vegas. It's the largest event of its kind held, I think, anywhere. And this will be the first time in a couple years we've been there. So we're looking forward to getting back into the process. And even with all the great things that are happening now, we think more things can happen.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
that's what we want to keep working for. So definitely looking forward to that. And then I also wanted to mention, on February 22nd, we have the Cottage Grove Convention and Visitor Bureau meeting. And so this is a really neat process that we actually learned about doing this in Las Vegas. And so it was an opportunity where we had potential investors who owned hotels and lodging companies, and they asked the mayor and I, do you guys have a lodging tax? And normally when you hear the word tax, it might not be, a good thing, but in this scenario, it in essence is a user fee. So they charge, I think, 3% on top of the bill that they charge their clients, and then that money comes back and is used to help fund this process. So everything that we do here is designed to promote, to bring recognition. As Administrator Levitt mentioned when she showed the booklet that we have, the Visitor's Guide, this is a really great opportunity for us to promote our city. And I think it has an awful lot to do with economic development, because when we have people here spending money, spending time, wanting to come back, that makes success happen for all of our businesses and for the community at large. So it's a really great thing. So if, I will say we still have 2 opportunities on that board for people that have a business-related background, especially here in the community. So if there is anyone out there who is interested possibly in joining this group, it's a great group of people, please reach out. We'd be happy to have you. That's what I have.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I don't think I would be productive if I was to join you.
Well, I'll leave that one alone, but EDA Member Myers. I guess the only other comment I would mention, a couple things in it. Goes back to the discussion about the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the fact that we're going to the convention in Vegas. The great news, I would say, about the convention in Vegas, though, is we'll finally be able to utilize the new backdrop that we bought a couple years ago before
Yeah, I
COVID. We really made this beautiful, state-of-the-art, kind of a, what word am I looking for?
It's a backdrop.
It's like a backdrop for highlighting the city with videos and signage and such, and pictures. And we kind of used it at a local event, but only in a small scale. The fact is we've wanted to do this in Vegas, and since we bought it, we weren't able to use it because of COVID. And this will be the first time we'll actually be able to utilize this in Las Vegas to really highlight the city of Cottage Grove. So we're pretty excited about that. And then, as some may or may not be aware, if you haven't had the opportunity, last Wednesday I was able to do my mayor's State of the City, which the state of our city is very strong. And for the EDA, and I know we'll have more information that will be coming out from our staff, but last year we did do a community survey to kind of gauge interest from the community about, what your feelings are with regards to Cottage Grove. And to be honest with you, you just never know with COVID and all that, what people's, I'll say attitudes and such are, but like previous surveys, the actual numerical pieces of the survey were great. People are happy with the direction that Cottage Grove is moving. They're happy with what's going on within our community. We did hear some things about concerns about growth and wanting to make sure, maybe increase in taxes, things like that. And so we're going to be going back and addressing some of those things. But one of the big ones that we heard, and that's why I thought I'd bring it up, is we keep hearing about we need more restaurants, we need more places to shop, and it's very awesome to know that we have a local family that's looking to invest in their own community and build a restaurant here in Cottage Grove. And I know we still got the permits and all that kind of stuff, but that everything should go fine, I think, as seeing the pictures and things that what you're proposing off of East Point Douglas there. So very excited to have another business join our business community here in Cottage Grove, and look forward to your future success and some ribbon cuttings once we get to that point later on. So just thought I would share that with the rest of the EDA. Any other EDA comments? All right, 6.3, response to previous EDA comments, there were none. 7, we do not have a workshop today, so I'll look at number 8, which is motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Knopp,
Second that one?
second by EDA member Myers. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.